Hey, what's going on, chat? Welcome to the spec sheet. I'm Curtis, and tonight's episode is different than what we've done in the past. It's going to start off with just a hangout session while I do some development. That's weird, I'm still hearing the music. Hopefully you're not hearing it still too. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to build an app together. And yep, I'm hearing myself in duplicate. Let's see what's going on here. Where is that coming from? It wouldn't be spec sheet without some technical issues happening here. So if you can hear me, go into the chat and let me know. If you're hearing the duplicate also, then let me know that too. Let's see, there must be a browser window open. There we go, I found it. And you probably weren't hearing it, it was probably just me. That's okay. So again, it'll be pretty light on topic tonight, other than our main goal, which is to build an app. And that app, if I bring up my screen here of our to-do list. So what we are going to do is build a Raspberry Pi app that is able to, well, I will just type it out here. Let's see, where'd that go? There'll be lots of pauses, I'm sure, tonight. Let's see. Why is that not wanting to connect? There we go. Okay, so let's see if I can add my first to do here. That will be when powered on, screen displays 0, 0 with a background image. Let's see if this updates. Oh, great, it didn't. So let me get my account logged in here. And if things go well, so I guess also I should mention, and I think I said this in the title too, that most of what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to try to use AI. So I've built Raspberry Pi apps before, I'm comfortable in Python, but what I want to try to do is this entire application, we're going to try to build it with AI. Just want to see how well that will go. Let me see if I reload this. So now allow me to add to it. Oh, looks like I'll have to create a new one. That's fine. I'm curious if my mic sounds all right. I'm using a wireless Rode Wireless Pro. I use it for video recording, like non-live streaming. This is my first time in a long time trying to use it with a live stream and my Rodecaster Duo. GPIO. Now let's see if I get rid of these. And of course, you're not seeing what I'm doing on screen, but we'll get that all worked out in just a moment. I don't know if I want to like how every click of my mouse you're hearing a sound for, but that's all right. What I was going to say is if we get this done fairly quickly, then Michael and I will potentially live stream some Fortnite is our goal. But it all depends on whether this goes well or does it just not. We'll see. Now, there we go. So delete. I purposely came into this with very little setup so that we could just do it together on stream. Okay. And I expect there'll be, like I said earlier, plenty of issues. Why will that not let me delete a task? All right, I'll deal with it. Now, how can I share this? Oh, of course, that's got to be a cost. Let's see if I can do this. Unauthorized. All right, so I guess I won't be able to show that to you. Let's see if I can do this a different way. That's right. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So the to-do list will not be shared on screen, unfortunately, but that's okay. First thing we need to do is this app. When it is powered on, it should show the loading screen, basically. Powered on, the loading screen should have a timer that is set at 0, 0, 0, colon, 0, 0. Save that. Make a subtask to that. Come on. Subtask. That's fun. This app is not wanting to work. There we go. So this, I'm trying to use checkli.com, which is supposed to be a free service, but I guess not. Okay, so when it is powered on, the loading screen should have a timer set to 0.00, and there should be an image loader. See if I can get some of these tasks that I don't need removed. Maybe we should build a checklist application, like just a simple one, man. This is a pain. All I want to do is add another task. There we go. Next task, when you press a button, then it should start the timer, which counts up. And then that counter starts counting up. Up by seconds, then minutes, then hours, then days. And then at 50:00 hours, a light is activated. And then after that, a second button will allow the user to reset the clock or the timer counter. Let's call it counter each time. All right, so I've got a set of steps here that I want to do. What I should have done was, before I started working through that, if I bring this screen up, we are going to get our Raspberry Pi ready. It is a Raspberry Pi 3. And then we're going to pick, let's see, what do we want? We want Raspberry Pi OS 64-bit, which is our recommended. We probably could go light on this, but we'll go ahead and give it a full GUI. And then let's see where we're going to put our storage. And go with that. Oh, nope, we got back our, let me just go ahead and delete that. I'll leave it just in case we have something else. Oh, you know what? I'll just go into what I was going to say also. So one thing, if you are watching and you're interested, I would like to say that instead of this, typically I would tell you to go to our Patreon and subscribe. Since this is different and I'm just kind of hanging out, seeing how this can go, if you want to contribute in some way, you should donate to the website shop rockykanaka.com. And here is what you just were seeing there. This is his shop. So I've been watching his videos on YouTube for a little bit now, where what we see on the screen right there, the sitting with dogs. I found it super relaxing, and it's just really interesting the way Rocky goes to shelters in his area, sits with dogs, tells their story, helps them feel better, gets them adopted, hopefully, with it. But just, it's a really interesting service that he's doing. And so tonight, if you enjoy this at all, or you're watching this live stream after the fact, and you're wondering what can you do to keep more videos like this going, then just go to his website, and we'll go to shop rockykanaka.com, buy his coffee, buy some of his merch, whatever. And if you have like a comment area, just tell him that the spec sheet sent you. He has no idea who that is, so it's okay. But that's what we're going to promote for tonight. So if you get anything out of this, and you just want to contribute to a service, that's great. Rocky Kanaka and Sitting with Dogs on YouTube is a channel that I really enjoy. You can find them on all the different social medias too, but shop rockykanaka.com. If you go buy something there, then that will help his cause, and it's a cause that I think is worthy. So check it out if you want to, and go ahead and donate to them. Also, and separately from tonight, go to patreon.com, look for Spec Sheet, and from there you can find where you can support what Michael and I do here. We appreciate the current subscribers to it, and we definitely plan to be more active in the future, so definitely check it out. But anyway, let's get back to some imaging. So bring this back up, and we do not need to customize anything right now. Let's just look though at our options, just because it's been a little while since I've done this. I just realized like I'm flipped the wrong direction. It's like I'm looking over to the side when I'm looking up at this. Let me see if I can flip my camera. Just a moment. Never mind. That'll make things weird. I'll just, that moves us around too. That's frustrating. Let's go ahead and pick Indianapolis. We do want SSH. Not right now. It's okay. We'll probably just use the free service to do this for login. We'll see. Let's give it the host name of counter.local, counter pi. Save. Don't care. Well, let's do counter and then super secret password. If you go back, you'll see what that was. It's super secret. Yes, hopefully I picked the right device. We'll find out if I did. If the stream suddenly stops, you know that I picked my main hard drive. And here we go. It's going to take it a little bit. Have some coffee as we wait. I should have music. Sorry that I don't. Let's try this. There you go. I've got all the sound effects. Well, okay, I don't have all of them. I have all the default ones that come with what am I trying to say? That come with the Rodecaster Duo. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a busy night tonight. I see we've got a couple people there, but everyone's being quiet. I am curious if you can hear me, so if anyone in the chat does decide to speak up, just let me know. Or how are my levels? I am not trying to promote Starbucks. Go to Rocky Kanaka, shop Rocky Kanaka and buy their flip coffee. Don't, or go to a local brewer. Let's see, what other sounds do I have? Never mind, most of that's not interesting enough to use, so. Well, except for this one. There you go. I don't know. I probably should have planned that better, shouldn't I? While that's going, let's go ahead and bring up this. And I'll move Raspberry Pi imager. No, we'll keep that kind of right in the middle here. And do that. Okay. And you know what? I think it's probably time to bring my image a little bit lower. You do not need that much of me on your screen. Let's do that. And okay. So what I'm using is a program called, let's just bring up the help screen so I get the name right, LM Studio. And what it does is allows you to host a local large language model on your machine. You need to have a machine that can handle it. So I'm on a Mac Mini M4, which is probably right at the limit of what this can do. But what we're going to do is I've loaded the Gemma 3 4B. It's a low-end version of that model, so I can use this as a interface to connect to a large language model that's been trained by somebody and been hosted on a website called Hugging Face. And with it, I can then interact. You have different sets that you can work with on it depending on the specs of your machine and what it can handle. This is definitely on the lower end for that, but I've got a couple we could work with tonight. So I could go with this one, the Gemma 3 4B, or we could do DeepSeek, which we might try, and we might try Llama. So we're basically it's going from Google or DeepSeek, which is a company out of China, and the other one we might try is Llama, which is based off of what Meta uses. So we'll start with Gemma, and what we're going to do is try to have a conversation with it, see if it can help us. Oops. We'll see what it, oh, hey, my screen went out right when I did that. That's fun. Why is that happening? There we go. Okay, but you were able to see it the whole time. All right, let's see what it says. Okay, let's do this. I can absolutely help you build an application for your Raspberry Pi 3B to get started. Okay, yep, it's going to do some requirements gathering and then write code and then tell us how to load it. And so for anyone who doesn't work with large language models very much and isn't really familiar with prompting, you'll see my prompt that I started with. And I don't claim to be an expert, but I work very regularly with this. But my prompt is, I need to create an application to run on a Raspberry Pi 3B. I will tell you the requirements. Can you assist in writing the code to build the application, including the steps to load it on the Pi? And it says it can and will. Before we write any, and so going into its requirements gathering, before we write any code, let's nail down exactly what you want to do. Please answer these questions as thoroughly as possible. What is the purpose of the application? What will the inputs need to be? What outputs will it produce? What programming language do you prefer? Do you need a graphical user interface? Are there any specific libraries or modules we'd like to use? What is the overall complexity? All right, let's start answering some of those questions. And I'm going to be polite and say, great, thanks. to start. Will display, let's say a screen. I'm thinking to web there. And it might end up being a web app. I don't know. We'll see what comes from this, but the application will display a screen with an image in the, or let's see, so let's tell it what we're doing up to this point, which is the application will display a screen with an image in the bottom corner, a background color using hex values, and a counter that will count up to 0.00. Okay, and what its response is, okay, fantastic. A display screen, or a screen displaying an image, a background color, and a running counter. That's a really solid starting point. Let's dive deeper. We're gonna flesh out the counter requirements. Display format, how do you want to display? To display 0 hours, minutes, this is what you initially suggested and seems straightforward. Okay. Let's say 1 format should be days, hours, minutes. Okay, and our next question. Incrementing. Okay, so you're right, it is a much cleaner format for displaying the time. It does make perfect sense. Thank you, AI, whatever we're going to call it. Let's call it FireFub for this. Sorry, should have muted while I go to take a drink. All right, so let's proceed with that assumption. Now let's tackle the other questions about the counter. Incrementing, you said every second. Let's stick with that for now. Okay, 2. I can type. Oops. I can type again here, resetting. Yes, I would like a button, let's say a physical button. And we have other questions here. Let's add another requirement to this though before we get going. Man, I cannot type this word today. Physical button. Okay, let me bring up the programming screen. Programming screen's my name for it, but just the actually flashing screen. So now we're going to remove this SD card and I'm going to put it in the Raspberry Pi. I'm going to mute the mic so you don't hear the rustling around of all of that. In the meantime, I'll play some of our fun music again. Let's see what happens here with our next item. Put me back in the screen. Actually, you know what? You don't need to see me just moving around here. Let's see if I can get my power button. Think I'm ready there. Let's try bringing up this screen and power up our Raspberry Pi. See what we get. We might get an epic fail here. We'll find out. Boot up though. Come on. This Pi hasn't been tested ahead of time. I'm hoping it works. Who knows? It's not looking good. Wish I had an easy way to just play some music for you for a minute here. All right, let's see. Go off of here. Sorry, I'm going to do some rearranging of things behind the scenes to see if I can get a display connected to this to make sure that the Raspberry Pi is booting up and that we don't have a dead Pi. So in the meantime, you're going to hear radio silence for a moment, but I will be right back. I'll go ahead and, well, no, actually, I'll just keep it here. I'll be right back. All right, so let's see what we've got here. I've got it connected now to an external monitor as well as my screen capture. Bring that back up. And we'll see together what happens here. What you're hearing is me disconnecting things behind the scenes. Well, not behind the scenes, but the Raspberry Pi that's physically. I should have like a top-down camera, but I don't have that. I am not getting a display. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to mute for just a moment. Be right back. All right, I'm back. What we're going to try is another reimage here. I'm assuming we have potentially a corrupt micro SD or just a dead Raspberry Pi. Don't know yet. So let's go ahead and retry this. So we're Raspberry Pi 3. Make sure I'm on the right one. Keep all of our settings from earlier. Okay. Okay, while we wait there, let's bring up our AI questions. So the last thing it asked for was, okay, that's an excellent addition. Adding a separate button. Okay, yep, that's about our button. So let's look at our requirements. Display format is days, hours, minutes, incrementing every second. Maximum value is none, so it's going to continuously update. Display method is a simple text label. Resetting is a physical button that will reset the timer, and a start button that will initiate the timer. And so what kind of image do we want to display? How large should the image be relative to the screen size? Do you want it to be static, or could it change over time? Okay, let's talk about that. Let's say the image should be full. No, because we're on background color. Should actually, let's say that it's a third of the screen. Now let's say take a path of screen. Splitting the screen into two columns. The first being the image and the second being the counter. The image could be a JPEG, PNG, or PNG. Let's have it rotate. Every 5 minutes. If I could remember how to spell the word sequentially. All right, let's see what it says for that requirement. So one thing that's always fun about large language models is how eager they are to please. So notice that I did give it some specific requirements, but there's definitely things that could be added to that to make these requirements better. But it says, okay, that's fantastic. That's a really well-defined image system with rotation and file naming. It adds a lot of flexibility to your application. That is just kissing my butt. It doesn't really know or care. Okay, it is bugging me for you guys that every time I look over at that screen, you are not seeing me, or you're seeing me look the other direction. So let's try rearranging this a little bit on the fly. All right, so now let's read what it summarized here again. Display format, we've already talked through incrementing every second. Maximum value, start button, image display takes up half the screen, splitting the screen into 2 columns, image on one side, counter on the other. Images rotate every 5 minutes. Images are stored in a folder named IMG and named sequentially. Now let's move on to the background color. What X value I'm going to do a test here. I'm going to tell it that I want white, and I'm assuming it's going to come back with the right answer. I know what the hex value is. It's very easy for white, but let's see if Gemma knows this. And of course it does know it. 6 Fs. Okay, let's let it finish up that. And while that's going, we can see that, like I suspected, I think my SSD is corrupt. It's been sitting here at verify for a while now. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel because it says 100%, but it's not moving forward. Let's see what's going to happen here. Yeah, I think I'm going to try a different card before we're done. All right, let's go back and see where we're at. Now that we have our requirements, let's start can't talk. Now that we have all of our requirements, let's start outlining the code structure and how we'll approach building this application in Python. This is what the model or AI proposes. Initialization, setting up the screen display, initializing the counter, setting up the image rotation logic. Counter logic, the core loop that increments, yep, I agree there. Image rotation, code that reads the next image and handles the 5-minute rotation, and then the button handling. Let's dive into this code. Okay, here we go. While that's working, Raspberry Pi Imager claims that it's finished. Let's see if it really has. While I move this, I'm going to bring us back to some Rocky Kanaka. I notice every time I load this, it's coming up with the discount code there. Sure, fill it out. Go ahead and do it. But anyone who's watching this, jumping ahead, what we're doing here is just talking about, for this live stream, if you've gotten anything of value out of watching it, and you want to contribute, then go to shoprockykanaka.com and oh yeah, it's up on the screen. Donate to them, buy some Flip coffee or Flips coffee or any of their merchandise. What Rocky does is does a bunch of things around animal rescues and dog rescues, but he goes to adoption shelters. Sorry, could not think of the word. To shelters and sits with dogs, which is what you're seeing on the screen that was just up a moment ago. So he will sit with a dog that looks like it needs assistance because it's not peppy or selling itself, I guess. I don't know a better way to say it. Promoting itself in a way that tries to get people to want to adopt that animal. So he sits with them, tells their story, tries to find out what makes them tick, and just makes them comfortable, which is probably half the battle, is just letting them know that there's somebody in their corner. He's a very upbeat guy. He's somebody that like I'll put on in his videos because the dogs are cute, but more importantly, he's a very insightful, just human being who has a life philosophy that is interesting to interact with. So yeah, just check him out if you like dogs and if you want to help support their mission. I think that any money spent there is money well spent. So enjoy that. I would enjoy if you did go. And like I said earlier, if you do donate or buy anything, just tell him that the spec sheet sent you sent you to them. He has no idea who we are. I've never talked to him. So yeah, there's not going to be like any connection, but I think it's cool to know that our community, which I think are animal lovers, would be wanting to share in the mission that he's contributing to. So let him know. I will be right back while I get this plugged in. All right, here we go. Let's see if this boots up this time. Give me a signal. It is not looking good. Notice that overlay is right over my head now. That's fine. One thing that worries me is that the capture device I have seems to be feeding back power through HDMI, like as if there's a short or something in it. So that worries me. I might have to try a different capture device. Let me do that. I'll be right back. I will put back our good buddy Rocky and mute. right, let's see what we've got here. Can I connect to this device? All right, I'm going to do a quick test here before I bring it up on screen just to see. You saw the mess on my desk right now trying to get this all connected. It's funny. Still not looking good. I'm starting to believe that we do have a bad Raspberry Pi. Which this one had been running 24/7 at one point for a long time. So there is a chance that it is truly dead. Let me try to reduce the number of things connected. Still not coming up. Okay, let's see here. Cancel this. Capture device did not work. Raspberry Pi is not powering on. I've got a Raspberry Pi 4, but I'd have to find it. I think it's in storage. So let's go ahead and take a look at, actually before I do this, let me see if Michael is still available and would be interested in doing some Fortnite. And while we wait for him to, if that works out, then we'll look at this code for a little bit before then. Okay. I don't even know if those sounds come through, but let's see here. What did it tell us to do? So we've got our initial code, bring in GPIO library, which makes sense, time, and then our operating system. So we're going to set our configuration of screen width. That's pretty small for a screen, but that's fine. Our folder for image and our rotation every 300 seconds. Sounds good. It's proposing we use GPIO pins 17 and 27, but of course we can pick whatever we want. And now it's going to define how they're going to be set for their pull up an initial state, the path for our image, our display counter and format. I mean, so far this is fairly close to what I would say is working code. So it did not do bad up to this point. So now it's setting up the main method. We have a state for start button press starting at false and our counter running set to false. Now it's going to try and it's going to create a loop waiting for that to be true, or while that's true. So once this changes, check for the button press. I don't know if we need to print that, but that's fine. And if the counter is not running, set to true for start button press and counter running. And we have a debounce. So we're going to wait a second. And then if the reset button has been pressed, then it's going to reset our counter to false. And I agree, it's not resetting it yet. Counter running, display counter method, and then sleeping for a second. And separately, it's checking our image. Nothing yet to actually swap out the image. And if there's a press, I guess, I just went through my own explanation of all that when I probably could have just gone to the AI's explanation. Imports the necessary library, sets up the configuration, has the display counter functionality, and then our main loop. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty close to what we need to do. So unfortunately, well, actually, before I say unfortunately, let me reach right over here to my stash of micro SD cards, as if I have a lot of them. I do not. Let's format one of these to see if maybe it is the... Let's just check to make sure there's nothing critical on this. I think I know what's on it already. Looks like this was used on a Wyze camera at some point. But which camera and what was it doing? It's funny, I should just let you see these pictures of a random backyard that for a place that I don't live at anymore. Okay. Believe we're going to wipe this one out. Okay, so I will share this again. Raspberry Pi. And do this. Okay, what I'm going to try is, once that's done, let's see what happens here as I bring up Curious, my Rodecaster, if I can add more looping audio. Let's see if that's possible. But the Rodecaster app has changed, so it is not happy It's funny you can see my mouse moving around even when that's not the program running. Is that the same app? No. Let's close this. Open this. It's better not try to reset my Rodecaster. Nothing like doing this on the fly. Let's see if it worked. Rodecaster app. I thought it was the opposite, that they were keeping the old program for Rodecaster Duos, but nope, can't do that then right now. I was going to try to add some songs, or not songs, but looping music. But that won't work because I have to switch the mode of the device, and I don't want to do that. I just realized as I came up with the idea to test this one more time with this other card. This is just how my brain works. I disconnected everything and put it away. I'm going to start connecting some things in the background. Hopefully we see this program finish in just a moment. Here's the Raspberry Pi we've been using, in case you're curious whether or not I actually had one. That would be great if I was just pretending. Wonder why this is sitting here at verify for so long. Let's cancel, go on. It's either verified or not. We don't want to wait. Next thing we'll do, if this doesn't start working, I haven't heard yet from Michael. What I'll do is try to get set up for Fortnite, which means there'll be a short pause again while I get that all configured. But if he gets back with us in that time, then we'll play some. If not, I'll just test to see how it's going, and then we'll call it a night. Keep going to move the screen, and it's weird how it positions it relative to in the screen capture device, because I have a ultra wide screen with side monitors. Still another verifying screen. starting to think maybe there's an issue with my USB-C device that is flashing these, because this is taking a long time. Let's go ahead and power on the Raspberry Pi. I just want to see. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Good timing. Move this. Power on. Show me something. It's not looking good. Gonna mute for just a second. All right, just wanted to do some process of elimination troubleshooting before I gave up on it fully. Swapped out the HDMI cable that was plugged in, swapped out the power supply, and my Raspberry Pi never came on. So what I'm going to do is mute for a few minutes, reset to where I can set up my Xbox on the stream. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Let me reset my headphones and see where we get from here. All right, now I can hear myself too. And of course, I go to set up the game, and it has a 37 gig update that it needs to do. Excuse me. Let's move my inset over to the other side again. There we go. Now let's see if this is going to display, which it is going to take a while to download. So it's like, don't know if we can win tonight. Here is the game though, or here's the Xbox. I do have that on. Do still have a problem with audio though, because I'm using my wireless mic. It's using the same channel that I would connect to. So I feel like I haven't heard back from Michael. There's a good chance tonight's stream might be over, and we'll try this again once I get working Raspberry Pi or Michael's available to play some Fortnite. So I think I am going to call it a night. Thank you everyone who joined. I'm going to once again bring up the Rocky Kanaka shop. Do go there and buy some of their merchandise, some of their coffee, support their channel, which is Sitting with Dogs is the show I watch from it, but they have other series and updates they do too, him and his wife and team. But anyway, support your local shelter if you don't want to support the stuff that Rocky is doing, and also for what Michael and I do with the spec sheet. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com. Just look for the spec sheet. You'll find us there. Become a member. You can become a paid member or a paying member who contributes to all the operations, like for us to be able to stream on here. These services that we use aren't free, and our website and all of that helps account for any of that. We do appreciate it. Or you can also just become a free member too, and we would love to have you on there as well. So yeah, we're about 37%. You can see my internet speed there by how fast that's going. But I think, yeah, we're going to call it a night. I, again, thank everybody. And how do I, there we go. I'll do some outro music. I think you're getting used to this song.